SIRTOBA Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome. The wait is over.
Let's get this thing started.
Go! Welcome, one and all across the nation and around the world. I welcome you all to episode 118 of the In or Out Sports Debate. I am your host, Drew Willingham, and we are back for another great edition. Episode 118 snuck up on us here real quick, and we got one returning panelist along with a new one to give us a great show today. So those of you out here in the chat, thank you for the comments and keep them rolling. Let's go ahead and start with a 13-time Vault of Fame inductee. You know him as the student of the game. And today he is the architect of the Bing. Welcome back, my man, Kyle Nash.
You know, that might be some of the best sports journalism you've ever done, Drew Willingham, because wherever I seem to go, the Bing seems to follow. Whether it's Melbourne, Cleveland, heck, I'm pretty sure that my dude Colin Cronin, the Irish NFL show, has dropped in a binger or two at some point. You're not far off. And hey, listen, I love the tonight's theme of bigness being a thing, just like that big ass logo you have behind you there. Yeah. Talking to us about sports debate. Don't think I didn't notice. Listen, an honor, joy, and privilege. And I thank our next guest here for jumping aboard. I don't blame him for what's about to happen, nor do I think he's in cahoots with Rob Johnson for ducking me. I'm creeping up, Rob. I'm creeping up.
That's right. We could have had a quads edition tonight, as this was definitely, a great time to get the Huddle Up podcast together with you and our next guest here. But Rob Johnson, he gave us a time restraint, okay? That can be publicly known. Unfortunately, he couldn't work within the window that we have tonight. He's definitely okay with me acknowledging that. As you know, when it comes to acknowledging and tribal chiefs around here, I am the one for this show. But we'll make it happen, I promise, at some point there, Kyle Nash. But something else we were able to make happen tonight is one of your brothers over from the Huddle Up podcast, a man who helped start this thing just about 4 years ago when it comes to when his first live broadcast came up on the YouTube live streams, just like we are right here and now on YouTube and on other platforms as well. Give it up for Big Jim, the Huddle Up podcast. Welcome to the show there, brother.
What's going on? Thanks for finally having me. And in terms of it starting things up, I mean, Kyle, that's a great nickname, but I think it got its true start on the Huddle Up podcast. So I feel even somewhat responsible for you being the was it the master of the Bing,
the architect of the Bing.
Yes. So I will gladly be the backstage producer on that, as I gave it its humble beginnings that are not so humble anymore, but I'm glad to be here.
The Baron of the Bing. Yes, you do have a sound bite proper instead of me just going Bing with my talent.
I should probably get that soundboard loaded, just
So I'm kind of surprised you don't, Jim. I'm not saying disappointed, but because I'm not.
You kind of are though, but
hey, look, that's you being hard on yourself, the perfectionist you are, just like Drew Willingham would do. Listen, I feel left out. I don't have a soundboard. Maybe there could be a producer battle in our future at some point, Drew Willingham. I won't rule that out.
Hey, I've seen where Big Jim has clicked on the Cartman soundboard. Okay, I've been a part of the audience and seen. I know where his fingers can go, just like you know where mine can go too.
Acknowledge me.
As we are here for episode 118.
I think we're talking too much about fingers and stuff, but sure, let's get going, gentlemen.
Speaking of acknowledging and putting the ones up, as always, when we get started each and every episode, when you have to acknowledge people, you got to acknowledge the Vault of Fame.
Acknowledge me.
I'm
want to take this time to kind of shout you out, Drew. You have taken a concept and made it into a whirlwind of fun for a lot of people. I know for myself, dude, I am proud of you, man. I want you to continue to do what you're doing. But the concept that you came up with, how much you put into it, how much you've changed it, how much you add to it, the work shows, man. So kudos to yourself. Round of applause for you, man. And just wanted to say thank you for having me on again. It was a lot of fun. Look forward to the next one.
Shout out to Drew for letting me come on the show. It was a lot of fun. Honestly, didn't know what to expect coming into this, and I am super happy that I agreed to come on to this because it was a blast, well-produced show. Honestly, extremely impressed by all the effort you put into this show, Drew. Thank you for having me on, and I look forward to coming back on in the future.
Man, you took me back. This is why this show was so important, and this is why I am personally validating and vouching for this show. If you are anybody in media, sports, professional wrestling, anything, you need to be on In or Out Sports Debate with my man Drew Willingham, because this has got to be one of the most fun things I've ever done in a long time.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the In or Out Sports Debate Vault of Fame, which you can check out the leaderboard through 117 episodes. Kyle Nash currently still sits in third place on the leaderboard for the amount of times here in the vault. As we are looking at this, you can find this show on SIRTOBA Media on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and now X, formerly Twitter, at these handles right here for SIRTOBA Media, as well as the website, which I need a little help constructing because it is a little dumpster pelicanish out here in these streams at SIRTOBA.com. But yes, that is the In or Out Sports Debates Vault of Fame. Gentlemen, welcome back to the show. We got 5 great rounds tonight. We got to get started with something that we all know a little bit about. Take it in to round 1.
Round 1.
And here with round 1, let's take it to, the NFL draft class of 2025. And look ahead a little bit, even though we're just getting started with preseason football in the NFL, and the NCAA is about to start up here soon. Shedeur Sanders will be QB1 of the 2025 NFL draft class. We'll start this one off with you there, Kyle. How do you feel about this one? Do you agree with the statement at hand? Are you in or are you out on this?
Oh, we're coming right out, making me corporate like EA Sports. I'm in the game. It's not just about the flash and the mobility at the quarterback position that's become absolutely necessary at the position. Trust me, I've asked Jimmy Johnson. I've asked Michael Vick. I've asked a lot of people. I've asked so many people, I've forgotten who some of them are. Kurt Menefee, for example. It's been a minute since I was in Phoenix to talk to some of these people about this topic. But needing a mobile quarterback, being mobile, being kind of a requirement at the position now than ever before, showing actual acumen, performing at a high level with no offensive line. Say what you will about Colorado last year. Shedeur Sanders did that pretty nicely. But the other aspect is this: who will be a likely candidate to have the top pick? And if you aren't thinking about the Las Vegas Raiders and how they embrace personality and flash over even at times player talent, please see Donovan Peoples-Jones, for example. I mean, come on, you made Michael Crabtree hold out. You made such a bad pick. Would I remember that if I weren't a 49er fan? Probably not. Punchline's this: because of the player Shedeur Sanders is, what his pedigree is, and his show for showmanship, it's going to be pretty amazing. By the way, now that he's in the place where defenses go to die and scoring is more sure than death taxes and other things, right? Take the over, right, Jim? I know you know that when it's coming out here later at your turn. But yeah, because he's in the Big 12 as well, all these the chances for great numbers to be lit up over and above the other reasons I just said. You got to put Shedeur Sanders at 1 on the board, don't you think?
Hey, well said there, Kyle. We'll see what Jim's got to say. How do you feel about this one there, Jim? Do you agree with him? Are you going to go in or are you going to go out on this?
I was a little afraid I was going to have to agree with student of the game Kyle Nash right out of the gate, but like a fat kid playing dodgeball, I'm out.
Nice.
Yeah. Look, nobody's going to deny the athletic prowess of Shedeur Sanders. Nobody's going to deny the one of the key factors at play with a very famous in the NFL and sports world father. But the bottom line is Colorado was 4-8 last year after getting all of the preseason hype. Yes, they're going to have an easier schedule this year. They're going to, the Big 12 is not even what the Pac-12 was last year. Heck, it's not even what the Big 12 was last year. But this team's not good. They're going to be 7-5 at best. The guy was sacked 52 times last year. He's been sacked 110 times in his career. I don't care if that offensive line's better. I don't care if the defenses are optional in the Big 12. He's still going to get hit a lot. And there's going to be questions about him now that we're getting a second year in like big major FBS college football. And I think there's just going to be questions from the NFL level. I think that it's not a strong quarterback class, which is going to play into his favor, but I still think Carson Beck out of Georgia probably going to be the number one. I think Quinn Ewers, maybe a couple others might have a chance to outbest Shedeur when it comes to draft time next year. And let's be honest too, the teams that are likely going to be in those very earliest draft picks, I'm looking at you, New England. I'm looking at you, Denver. I'm looking at you, Carolina. These teams already have their quarterback of the future, but they need so much help that I don't see them going, yeah, sure, we'll give up our number 1 or number 2 overall pick to move back and possibly lose out on some talent that they're going to desperately need. So yeah, he will be one of the higher quarterbacks taken in 2025, but he will not be quarterback 1 in 2025.
This is one of my favorite parts of Trios Editions, where one of you is in and the other's out. And even though the fans decide who wins this whole thing, right? Their comments. To tip the scales, it is my turn to do it. I could side with the architect of the Bing, or I could go with Big Jim right here in this topic. And you know what? I'd already made up my mind before we got here, and I'm going to stick with it. I disagree with the architect of the Bing. I am out. I don't want to beat up on Kyle Nash, okay? This is my boy, okay? I love Kyle Nash, but I am going to say this. You bring some really great points to the table, and I really think that if he does get to that point and becomes QB1, it's going to be based on politics, and I don't see that happening because you got Quinn Ewers in Texas is going to be coming out. And based on what I think he's going to do this year, I just have a really good feeling about that team. Even though they do have a little bit of turmoil somewhat in the background, whether you want to admit it or not, you got Arch Manning as your backup quarterback there. And I don't think that that's going to be him taking over the job. But at the same time, you could see the fact that Arch Manning having an 87 overall in the video game is going to motivate Quinn Ewers to be even better than what he has previously been. And he's been a pretty good college quarterback. And to this point, better than Shedeur Sanders, in my opinion, especially at the level of what he's playing. I see him getting drafted ahead of Shedeur Sanders in this NFL draft. I'm just being real. The only way that this happens is if Coach Prime can play politics enough to get his son drafted in the first round, and he would still have to get drafted above Quinn Ewers, and he's not even potentially going to be the best quarterback in entire college football because we haven't even gotten to that point yet. And we see Cinderella stories all the time. I mean, when you look at probably the most recent one at quarterback in the NFL, it was Brock Purdy, and look at where he was drafted. Okay. My biggest take is even if in basketball, King can't even get his son drafted in the first round, you think that Shedeur Sanders is going to be QB1 in the NFL draft this upcoming year? I disagree, Kyle Nash. I still love you. But this topic right here, I have to side with Big Jim on this one because that's just what makes sense to me.
Hey, that's fine. And listen, the love flows both ways as the ignorance does from both of you. Of exactly why it will be Shedeur. First of all, you're over here wearing your Notre Dame gear like you're an authority on quarterbacks. I don't mean to beat around the windbush, but not everybody has a Notre Dame offensive line, okay? Yes, I'm talking trash there, Big Jim. I'm doing it by the Ian book. What do you know about quarterbacks in the first place? Second, I've seen how the Cowboys front office works. I know bad front offices when I see them, and I know they're capable of making the mistake of getting Shedeur Sanders because Prime says so. A lot of that has to do with the fact they're in Las Vegas. They're all about showmanship and all of that. It's not politics, my friend. It's economics. Drew Willingham that runs the show. By the way, you want to know what else what Jim graciously did to fight my argument for me? Label all the other teams that aren't going to be picking quarterbacks. Thus, cementing the C quarterback here in the depth chart. I know, Aiden Okada, whatever. I know what I read. Okay, by the way, Mikey the Burn of Huddle Up Podcast said the very same thing about that quarterback room. Bing! On the Student Game Podcast. So not only do I architect another Bing and do it from the man who owns the house where it was born, all I did was just further solidify my point with your points. So please tell me how wrong I truly have it.
I mean, you're trying to put Shedeur Sanders possibly on the Cowboys roster, which I'm just emailing. Pardon me while I'm emailing my therapist because we still have plenty to work on there. They're going to also prove that he's not the quarterback one, because yes, while the Cowboys may be utterly disappointing for the 29th straight year in a row, again, therapist, I'm working on it.
I'm glad.
But there will be quarterbacks taken before him. We're looking at you, New York Giants. So therefore, no, I don't think that that it'll be a Shedeur as the first one taken. Again, he may be a first round guy, right or wrong, and hopefully for me, hopefully wrong somewhere in there. I think I worked that through the brain properly. But again, he will not be the very first one taken.
Let me be clear, Jim. I did at no point in my speech did I insinuate he was necessarily the right guy. I thought everybody caught that. Okay, just so we're clear.
Oh, yes. No, I'm not saying that you did. I'm saying right wrong that he will be somewhere in that first round.
Just checking. By the way, little disturbed by your lack of faded Trey Lance. No, I'm not.
Yeah, no, I saw last week them trying to like hype him up with this wide open pass that he threw to some random tight end. I don't know his name. And I'm like, wow, you're like trying to give me hope for this guy on a pass that I could have made. Oh boy, it's going to be a long year.
It's worse than the Mac Jones hype in Jacksonville. By the way, great thing that we don't know any Giants fans, right, Jim?
Very good thing.
Hey, I want to point out one thing. And I wrote this topic in this show on purpose because of one thing that you guys brought up. You go back 4 years ago, you notice there's a difference in Big Jim's background. Okay. Big Jim used to have some cowboy swag hanging behind him. All right. Now, I get the whole point you're talking about therapists there, buddy. Like, because you're getting, you can't really see it back there. It's buried between everything back there. You look at the tales of woe from my team. They had to change their name. They're formerly known as the Redskins. Okay. Now, with one of the most terrible names of all time for a football team being the Commies. Okay. Here we are from there to the football team, the team of football, WTF, to right here and now. Yes, you were talking about therapists. I have the issues with that too. So I feel you on that. So we can come together united as fans of our teams. They are dumpster fires. Hopefully they get better.
Can't relate, guys. Sorry.
You're going to relate here too. That money you're paying Trevor Lawrence over there with you coming to Jacksonville. But I'm talking about with the 49ers too. If you're going to have to pay Brock Purdy,
it's a cool story and all, but like if math's right, the Cowboys have won a Super Bowl more recently than the 49ers.
Oh, we're doing this again?
I mean, look, it's not great either way. And don't get me wrong, you've had more success as in failure than the Cowboys have had.
As in being 1 minute away from winning the damn game. Yeah, I think
that's cool. Is there like a 1 minute away from the Lombardi Trophy? I'm not sure.
But there's the part where the Niners pretty much have a doormat on your house there, Cowboy fan. Just throwing that out there.
Oh, well aware. We're just already more seasoned on the golf course by the time you guys get out to us. That's fine.
you keep that handicap down, Big Jim.
That's what I'm saying. Our handicap went up when Romo like stopped playing golf, so we're working on getting it back down too.
Guys, we gotta before we go into the next topic, because that was definitely great. We gotta acknowledge the comments here in the chat. Mickey Delaney's hyped to see Kyle back on the screen.
What's up, buddy?
We are all blessed to have Kyle.
He sees Kyle on Wednesdays, but yes, we are definitely all blessed to have Kyle, I guess, when it comes to that. Let go He says, but let's go is what he means. He was ready to get the show started.
Ike.
Ike is in the house. Says, fellas, yo! Episode 118. He is hyped. Even, of course, Mickey's hyped to see Ike. As always, no matter what platform you are watching this particular episode on, if you are new to that platform, whether it be SIRTOBA Media, Huddle Up Podcast, or even with Kyle's channels, The Student of the Game, please like, share, and subscribe to whatever platform you're watching it on, as well as the rest of them that you can see in the description. You can click on the links here in the description of what you are watching. Even Ike says, what's up, Mr. Teddy? Yeah, because Ike's friend here, Mick, used to have an old screen name with Teddy Bear something. I don't know, Kyle, you probably remember because he used to show up here.
I remember the name. I don't remember what it was, but yeah. I mean, listen, hey, Mick, whatever. Why just a name? By any other name, it's just sweet to see people in the comments. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
That's why you'll see Sick Diggy at some point, Jim, talking about them sending each other bears from Build-A-Bear. It gets off the rails at certain points. It's gonna be a wild time. We're only like
I host 2 clown shows, one in the fall, 1 year round, and off the rails doesn't even begin to describe it.
Listen, okay, I'm always on 3 Count Thursday, but I just play the part of the John Cena cutout. Anyway.
Ike says in Prime will get him there. So he's agreeing with you on the end, but going more so on the politics side, I guess. What do you think, Kyle, since you agreed with that?
Again, economics, not politics. That's the only correction I'd make. No disrespect, Drew. That's just where I sit.
I mean, he's saying Prime will get him there. So doesn't that look like to me with my argument being politics?
No. I don't mean to like say it's the wrong word. I just prefer to I think what I'm stating is what drives the politics is economics, but then economics is political. It's an either or. I don't know.
It gets very blurry and gray in there.
Well, this is where this type of season comes into factor because we're in politics season.
Exactly. So, whenever I talk politics, I always go to woke Jim. That's what I do.
That is right. That is true.
Don't be rude.
Yes, the soundboard came with them too. That's what makes this even better. That's what I'm talking about. And of course, they're going with the how are yous and Sick Diggy. Speaking of him, is in the house. Says, "What's good, everybody? Well, we appreciate you being here, Sick. Sick is all the way from Norway, which is why when I do the intro, I say across the nation and around the world because he is literally watching us in Norway right now."
Sick Diggy, I gotta ask you, are you familiar with the Gold Clued podcast over there? It's in Danish. It's not in Norway, but my good friend Nicholas Jorgensen from the Gold Clue there. Excellent source of knowledge for the Baltimore Ravens. That big thing internationally, baby. I'm 2 for 2 on international drops. What's up, Colin Cronin earlier? The Irish NFL show. #talent.
Hey, that was a nice drop. And there he goes with the Bing, which is where Kyle Nash came up with his own OG Bing. And then here we are. So you can see it come full circle tonight on the show. Of course, the highs are back and forth as he says. Shedeur Sanders as a QB1 in the 2025 NFL draft. What the slap of pale horse albino are all of y'all drinking?
It'll be pumpkin brew. 'Tis the season, fools.
I'm just having tea, some iced tea. All right.
I mean, #you problem, I guess. I don't know. You do need to be sober to wrangle me and Big Jim. I can't.
That's true.
That
and I always have to be drinking a 316 IPA if I'm going to deal with Kyle.
Hey, well,
y'all have the fun. I got to be able to click the buttons. I can't drink and click the buttons. It's like drinking and driving. Okay, we'll be all over.
That's true. That is.
Right? So right here now, that's we're being safe. I'm the DD of the show. So when it comes to that, I said this on purpose, Sick, just to get you to think and give our points. And you saw where Big Jim and I were kind of going logically with this. And Kyle Nash, you could ask him how many of those has he been drinking if you want to.
I mean, how many? Just 2 so far. I wish I had a third.
But I think his take will still be the same, 6. I don't know if that will really kind of fit into the equation. Let us know in the comments.
Kyle, that's the wrong answer. Like we used to say in college, only wussies count.
Well, no, see, I was an engineering student, so if I couldn't count, people would have questions.
Well, there you go. And yet here we are in the same room with one another.
And I'm in IT. And I'm just kind of like a unicorn, bro. Like I'm just out here doing a thing.
How many IT people do you know that have a semi-pro football championship ring? I'm just saying.
Hey, you're not lying. That's why you're mother fathering awesome. I had to watch
That's why I'm the arc. See, Big Jim, I shake it off because this is every week on the Huddle Up podcast. Bing!
Yeah, I'm just getting. This is just my training camp to get ready for a couple weeks from now.
It's not a camp. This is a preseason game. Give yourself.
That's true.
What is it? I forget which Tuesday. Well, August 23rd. Was that the date that you guys had announced?
It'll be August the 20th. Will be
20. I knew it was 20 something. For some reason,
first
it was
live
earlier.
show of the year.
How about Drew Willingham pimping it like that?
That's awesome. Look at that. I love it.
You gotta do what you gotta do out here. You gotta look out. You know, sharing is caring. Collabing out here in these streams, and of course they got the bow down to the comment cop, Drew. When it comes to that, you know, Mick.
Stop it. Get some help.
No, take advice from the real King and get some help when it comes to that out here. But for real, in all honesty, I'm glad you guys are here out in the comments. And for that, I'll take it back to 1999. Keep those comments rolling, as we do have a few more before we go to the next round. I've never heard of them, Kyle, but I'll check them out, he says, with your suggestion.
Gould Clued. Yes, it translates to yellow flag in English for those that are wondering.
Absolutely. I had no idea. That's something I just learned tonight. So thank you for sharing that out here. As far as Big Jim goes, give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Followed by a what? As we are back here tonight. Sick also says,
Who?
What's the Danish podcast name again? Tell them again.
That would be the Gould Clued, Guldklud, Gould Clued podcast. It took me 2 years to be able to say it right, so I don't blame you, Sick. You're good.
To where I'm kind of just sitting over here like,
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
That's why I translated it, Drew. That's why I translated it. I'm over here like Maui doing you a favor, right, Jim? You know.
I mean, you got it.
you're doing that along with this kind of context.
You guys want to hear a fucking story?
That's how it's kind of going right now.
The producers outproduced one another.
I love it. It's so good.
I thought one for one, and then the other came in, and now I'm just confused.
Kyle's just getting overwhelmed here.
That's great. And well, before that, Mick says pimping not easy. That kind of falls into what we just did with Kyle right there. So that was
You're
great.
not wrong. You're not wrong.
By the way, Kyle Swedish, Danish, Norwegian.
Swedes.
I read it like a Hispanic word or whatever. So Swedes, Danes, Norwegians, Icelanders, Icelanders, and what is that? What is
Finnish? I would assume.
and Feroci?
Yeah, I don't know Feroci, but I'm assuming that's what the reference is to.
They have a love-hate amongst themselves. It's quite comical at times.
I could only imagine. Listen, Greeks and Turks, baby. That's what I base it on. Okay, you know. I thank the Ottomans for me having a tan like this, but they invaded to make it happen. It's really kind of a mixed bag for me.
Well, before you go into that mixed bag, let me give you this.
Let me talk to you.
Well, I meant for the topic, not now, Drew. Shoot.
I can always click on it later. It's not that big of a deal. We'll be all right.
Hey, we're ready though. It'll be good when it drops. Let's do the thing.
We're picking up steam. That's what we got to do out here in these streams. Guys, keep those comments rolling. You've been rocking and rolling so far. I definitely appreciate it. We do have some more rounds to get to, but before that, we do have some breaking news. And that breaking news is this. Next week, episode 119, the real Dwayne Allen returns for the first time in a year and a half since episode 74. To come on back for episode 119, we'll be talking some professional wrestling and some other sports as well. Tune in next Monday, same time as tonight, 9:05 p.m. Eastern time here on SIRTOBA Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome. We're going to go ahead and take this into round two.
Round two.
Here with round two. Team USA's men's basketball's easy road to the quarterfinals will end up costing them the gold at the 2024 Paris Olympics. Start this one off with Big Jim. Let us know what you think about this one. Are you in or are you out on this one?
Nah, man, I'm much like number one. I'm going to be out on this one. look, I'm not the biggest basketball guy in the entire world, and don't get me wrong, there are plenty of sports in this Olympic Games where I'm learning the game on the fly. But looking at this roster, man, you just look at it, LeBron, Curry, Durant, Embiid, the list continues to go on and on of the great names. This team's easily the best team in the field. And really all they need to do is play. I'm gonna equate this back to my AHL's Hershey Bears this year. They were by and large the best team in the American Hockey League, just like Team USA is in the men's basketball field. And the only thing that was going to stop the Hershey Bears was themselves. They didn't. They won Calder Cup number 13 less than 2 months ago. And Team USA, the only thing that's going to stop them is themselves. It's not going to be the easy road. It's not going to be anything like that. It's simply going to be them not showing up, not working together. So yeah, it has nothing to do with the field around them. It all has to do with that room if they don't win the gold.
Well said. Definitely it's going to be hard to debate that one. And Kyle, are you going to debate that one and go in, or are you going to agree with them and go out?
Well, listen, I know some people like to talk about fat kids and dodgeball, but I'm going to say that instead I feel like I'm in the cold, as in I'm out in the cold. But before I get into it, let me talk to you.
Oh, man, he caught me off guard.
Let me talk to you.
Here's the thing, fellas. Jim did his best Ron Jeremy impression and nailed the concept that is the actual problem. It has nothing to do with the schedule. And I know, right? And I know this topic is here just so Drew Willingham can be the Baron of Braun hate. I put my R in the wrong place. The Baron of Braun hate again. Y'all saw how we snuck in more Braun hate in the middle of the Shedeur Sanders topic, okay? By the way, I'm glad you're using less neck motion when you're saying, yo, Kang.
My brother, testify.
I'm worried about you. I don't want you to hurt yourself shouting out, yo, Kang, okay? That would just be a very awkward thing for you, all right? But listen, Jim's got it right. Jim's got it right that it's not the schedule that's the issue. Matter of fact, if Team USA is going to have a problem, I'm not even go so much with the beat yourselves thing. But what I am surprised by is why Jim doesn't have the right answer. Granted, you're spending so much time cheering for your Hershey Bears and being anti-American. No, seriously, the Bears play a team called the Americans. This isn't me.
Allegedly.
No, it's not alleged. You actually literally cheered against the Americans in a hockey game. It's a thing that happened. They're called the Americans. Stephen Colbert told us all about it. Listen, if you're going to bring minor league hockey schmack and think I wouldn't match you, that's a you problem, Big Jim, okay? But the punchline's this. As somebody who's literally cheered against Americans, the real problem with Americans in basketball is the fact they don't have time to meld. The proof of that? Also Americans. You're a hockey guy. You're not going to bring up the 1980s hockey team defense? Really? This was a group that came together as a team, not being professionals, and whooped the entire butt of a USSR team. I have to say that, not Russia, because that's actually a difference. But came in to handle that business in a fashion that wasn't supposed to happen. Why? Because of team chemistry. With the U.S. team, hey, we're going to roll this ball out, and hopefully talent will overcome. And despite the best efforts of Coach K to try to build a proper Olympic program in American basketball, and it still hasn't happened yet, unfortunately, that is the reason why the U.S. would lose in the later rounds. It has nothing to do with the easy field. And as much as Drew's going to use this as an opportunity to hate on Yo Kang, because that's all he does is NBA on this show. The fact you're depending on a 40-year-old guy to beat South Sudan is a problem, guys. Just throwing it out there.
So you agree somewhat because of the leading by a 40-year-old man to win these games. So I kind of see where you can go both ways in this, Kyle Nash. You kind of left it open for me to kind of just come in here and be like,
Surprise, motherfucker.
but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stick it within your realm of where you were going with this. Yeah, because of Yo King! I'm going to go in. You knew this was coming. You predicted it. You just stated it in your statement. I was going to come up here and need to see a chiropractor tomorrow after I went, Yo, King, up here on the microphone 17 times. So for those of you out there that are drinking, if you play a drinking game to the amount of times that I say, Yo, King, you might want to call out of work tomorrow already because you're going to be in for a long one for this one for the next minute and a half, 2 minutes. Reason is, okay, you're here at the quarterfinals. You made it basically to the Elite Eight of the Olympics. Congratulations. All right. But there's been some breakdowns within your team. Steve Kerr is making some decisions out there, not really doing the best thing when it comes to certain lineups within the games because he's playing around with what he has instead of already figuring out what he should have been rolling with throughout the game. He's testing certain things and still trying to figure out the chemistry this late in the game when you had more time than the women's team to get the chemistry together with all the time you had during the offseason to put this team together, even before that on paper. But you've had more time with practice than almost any other team playing at this level for the men's, for the men's teams as well, but also the women's teams in basketball. So right now, Kyle brings up a really great point. The fact that you are leaning on a almost 40-year-old man who we all know this is his last Olympics unless he does something miraculous and does some Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II like stuff in the NBA and continues to play so that way he gets to play with Bryce in a couple years. And then, hey, you know what? I might even try to carry my kids to the Olympic team. Let's make this a family event, like a travel basketball team. That's what we can have right here because Yo King is spearheading this thing. All right? You set this up, Kyle Nash. You got me revved up. Your take just previously said, oh, he's going to come in here and say, Yo King! Absolutely he is. This is what this show is built around. Speaking about Yo King in this context where I can control it within because I produce it. So yes, Yo King. Please don't drink during these amount of times I'm saying it because I'm telling you, it's not going to end well right here and now with this men's Olympic team. He's not, he is the oldest one on the team, but you have a lot of old faces on there. You still have Joel Embiid, who's playing pretty, he's not consistent. He's not really helping out this team at the best of cases consistently through this team. I think they'll win this upcoming game tomorrow, 3:30 p.m. Make sure you tune in, watch the game. I don't have any doubts about that. But you still have to win one more game. And beyond that, depending on how you win this game, is going to depend on if you even get to the gold medal game. So do not be shocked if they get to the top four and they finish fourth to where they don't even stay on the podium. I'm probably going to be wrong when I say that, but they could at least get to the gold medal game and lose and still leave with the silver, or they could walk away with Yo King's favorite color, LeBron's, out here in the Olympics, Kyle Nash. So yes, the hatred on Yo King might be there at times, but at certain points, especially when it's bring your kid to work year, that right here is warranted to where I get to spell out Yo King once again.
So you see, Jim, what he did there? He went full EJ Christian. I predicted his answer, nailed it, and then he tries to spin it like I made it happen. Listen, you didn't show up to episode one.
What was more impressive is Kyle had to go full body to get that stuff out, and my man Drew over here just bringing it from that power, from that middle right there. He didn't even flinch when he's saying it about 10 times in that preach right there.
That's why I get worried about his neck, his form.
It's impressive, man.
His form makes me worried about him, Jim. That's what I'm.
That was impressive.
You see what I'm
My man's tough over here.
Thank you, fellas. That was great.
saw the EJ spin where I predicted his argument, and he's going to try to act like it was my fault, right?
Oh,
Like,
for sure. I mean, I seen it. I see it all year with EJ Christian, but man, I was more impressed by that guttural declaration.
Listen, but you understand why I get. By the way, for all the trash talk I do on the show about LeBron hate and all this, Drew Willingham, I will give credit where it's due. As ridiculous as some of your LeBron takes can get, LeBron's is effing funny. I don't care who you are.
Oh, I knew.
You like that? You like that?
I knew that would be great for you right there. And yes, I appreciate it, Jim. There's been some real rehabilitated roads here and there, but you've got to, work with what you got. And even though I'm not as great as I once was, I still have some pieces here and there that keep it going. So I appreciate that out here in these streams. But here and now, we have got some great things to clip out into some reels already from the first 2 rounds. So we're definitely starting this thing out hot. So with that being said, we got some comments here. Oh, besides the pimping not easy, Mick says that he loves you, Kyle.
Oh, much love, Mick. Of course.
Yes. You got to give a shout out. And for those of you, again, who are tuning in for the first time, whether it's live or syndicated after it's shared like 1,000 times, subscribe now and never miss out on new content out here in these streams. But man, Corey Mann is here with the red ring.
Hey, Black Jesus in the building.
There he is, ready to rock and roll. He was here last week for episode 117, the first time in 10 episodes that he was back as well.
He also appeared in the comments on the Student of the Game. It was a good time. I tried my best to use his appearance to reference back to that episode 117, but there you go. Thank you, Jim.
See, that's the one thing that it kind of, it's tough. I got to watch everything after it's live because, my full-time job, I'm working 4 p.m. Eastern time to 3 a.m. Eastern time, 5 days a week, Tuesday through Saturday. So you guys have all the good stuff when I'm at work, and I'm usually listening to it on my way home as of like a 45 to 50-minute drive home. So yes, definitely appreciate you, Corey, for tuning in and for being around during the one night a week right now. I can only do this thing. I appreciate you guys for being here at this time as we are live. I found the podcast. Kyle, also say it. I can't say it.
Oh, Ghoul Clued.
There it is. Actually means yellow cloth. Yellow
right.
flag.
Yeah.
Would be ghoul flag.
In defense of my good friend Nicholas Jorgensen, he said all that, but it's easier to tell the ignorant American folk out there that it means yellow flag. It gets them more excited. You know what I'm talking about, woke Jim.
Wow. Not cool, man. Not cool.
I mean, I'm still looking back on this whole thing and saying,
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
Again, the appropriate response. That's why Sick Diggie's here to help.
Well, I can't play that sounder from my board because it doesn't have the little beep in there.
Oh, no, I mean, you can't play.
Unlike EJ Christian, I try to respect the house that I come visit.
Drew Willingham.
What we may have to have a whole gathering of discussions before what I was talking about in the green room beforehand comes into fruition. But we'll get back to that at another date and time. With this previous topic, though, that we're still on, Ike says that he's out.
He seems to agree with the clan for the most part here. Okay, there you go.
I'm the lone wolf. It is what it is. I'm cool with it. When it comes to that, I would say the easy route to the QF will cost them. Will cost Team USA if they get complacent. Unless they can get their act together, they're going to need to rely on experience as well as talent.
I mean, he's not wrong, but
yeah, I mean that was kind of my point. It's they're just, hey, we're it's so good we're just gonna roll through this is what's gonna stop them, not the road itself.
But my only pushback to that, Jim, is like you damn near lost to South Sudan. How the hell are you getting complacent right now? Like, that's crazy to me.
Don't they? I feel like every Olympics they have one of those games in like the prelim rounds where everybody panics. It's like, oh man, they almost lost it. Insert team here, and
the Dream Team had the game against the college kids that they actually did lose. Now, granted, you come to find out the Coach K kind of, through the game a little bit, so to speak, sabotage the Americans, if you will, but details.
This one's going to be great. Anthony Davis needs a lot more things from bum leg orthopedic to keep his body intact. Oh, my leg. Oh, my leg. Oh, my leg. Oh, my leg.
I feel like that's something that is going to hurt Laker fans more than anybody else. But yes, true.
Facts. Drew Willingham has a deceptively powerful core. He's a lot stronger than he looks. I guess it's from those years I spent back in the day carrying refrigerators. We can talk about that at the time as well. But
I wish you still had the clip of you hitting that homer, because then they could see your powerful core at work. I'm just saying.
I could. I'll try to dig that up during the commercial break. What to see? It's been a while since I played that unit. It's not part of the the StreamYard board anymore. But yes, we have enjoyed that a time or two here in the past within these 118 episodes. Definitely a good call there, Kyle Nash. I forgot all about it. This is what happens when you get old. Full Body at Big Jim Sports is at the student of the game is brewing a top secret IPO.
I mean, I haven't made it a secret. Haven't you heard of the Duval Diet YouTube channel yet? Bing!
I tried to get the point out before. Yes! That was great. No worries, Kyle. I've got cousins in Sweden, and half the time the conversations have to be in English.
I listen, the Swedes are very English fluent. I have been there. I had no struggles speaking English up there. So yeah, that makes a ton of sense to me. Well played, Sick. Thank you.
Yeah, they're definitely well played. Sick is always coming in the clutch. So I got to have him on an episode here again soon when D. Willie in the evening comes back this fall. Keep in mind that many African teams have second and third generation European and North American nationals. Same thing in soccer.
Okay.
I'm telling you, he's dropping dimes out here. So
he'll do that.
Absolutely. Guys, keep the comments coming. We'll see you here in about 2.5 minutes after our first commercial break. And then we still have three great rounds ahead. We'll see you here shortly.
All it takes is a little push to come along, send you in the right direction. And all of a sudden you understand all you had to do all along is revel in what you are.
SIRTOBA Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, look. Hey, stop playing games. Y'all already know. Go ahead and toss him some Willie bucks. Ain't nobody playing around. Hey, $ D Willie 87. Go ahead and hit him up on the Cash App and go ahead and give him some Willie bucks. Look at Drew looking stoic, ladies and gentlemen. Stoic on that $10 bill. So go ahead, slide my man over some Willie bucks, and we good. That's all I'm saying. We good. Some Willie bucks.
Drew Willingham.
In this case, yeah, you put the blame on Kyle Shanahan for apparently not preparing the team enough for the overtime rules, supposedly.
Cole Johnson.
Peyton was considered a winner, and he was the darling of all darlings for Gerald.
With a special appearance by Tyrone Alizé McDummy.
Ain't nobody calling me. Text. Delete.
Join these two football enthusiasts as they give you Total Football Talk. Live every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central on the SIRTOBA Media and the Comey Media YouTube channels.
Welcome back to the In or Out Sports Debate, episode 118. We are live and back from the first commercial break. Still have 3 great rounds ahead of us, so let's go ahead and get it started. Round 3.
Round 3.
here with round 3. Let's take it to a little bit of NFL football again and talk about wide receiver Tyreek Hill does not deserve to be the number 1 on the NFL top 100 list. Start this out with you there, Kyle. How do you feel about this? Him being in Miami, not too far from you there, sir. What do you think about this contract to hand? Not only that, but him being number 1 on the NFL top 100. Take us on a ride. Are you in or are you out on this?
Listen, the Olympics has brought us swimwear, and I'm in there like swimwear. What can I say? Now, let me be abundantly clear, okay? I have on many times on the Student of the Game podcast, stated that, in fact, thank you, Jim, Tyreek Hill is the MVP of the Dolphins franchise right now. Period, point blank, end of story. However, am I in a position to actually believe that he is the top player in the NFL? No, I am not. Okay, there's no way you could take me there. Now, granted, NFL players haven't always done the best job figuring out who the top 100 are. Need I remind you that a Peyton Manning who had a spinal injury was number 50 on the damn list? What are we doing here? Okay. I'm not even going homer here and saying that it should be Christian McCaffrey, though I can make one hell of a point with that in mind. No. It's obviously Lamar Demetrius Jackson, folks. Obviously, Lamar Demetrius Jackson. Friends, no matter who was hurt in the backfield, no matter what receivers he did or didn't have available at a particular time, and really coaching blunders and officiating screw jobs was what kept the AFC North, the AFC Conference dominated by the Kansas City Chiefs in that particular game. Oh, but Kyle, Lamar Demetrius Jackson played back. You do realize that the plays that he would have committed if Ravens receivers weren't wearing capes as red as Superman, except they weren't capes, they were stand-ins for the Kansas City Chiefs defenders who were beaten on the plays in question. Just ask Odell Beckham Jr. in the end zone, okay? All that sort of stuff going down is the kind of thing that don't make it into player votes. Matter of fact, the people I would argue who are least capable of voting for this are the players. Their biases get exposed like Janet Jackson in a halftime show. And frankly, listen, I'm not here to tell you that Tyreek Hill isn't fun to watch either, right? But if you're going to go another direction and say, well, Kyle, Trent Williams is actually the most important player on the 49ers, and maybe you'd be right in that case. That's a separate conversation and topic. But do you really think there's any way an offensive lineman's going to make it? I know I'm catering to the fact that a quarterback is the correct answer. Hell, the MVP that isn't and still is, yet, with minimal battle from me, we all know that Christian McCaffrey was the actual NFL MVP. We're just dealing with a press corps that also steals the comeback player of the year from a guy that died on the damn field. So yeah, please come at me about how Tyreek deserves this. You would just be entirely wrong. Plea the Taylor Swift defense on your own behalf. It's you, High. You're the problem. It's you if you think this is correct.
Jim, you gonna disagree with them and go out? You gonna go in on this one?
No, like the fat kid at a buffet, I am in on this one. Great. Now I got to think of an argument while I'm also thinking about the buffet. Now, look, nobody's going to deny how good or how athletic Tyreek Hill is. You want to put him in your top 3? You want to put him in your top 5? Okay, I'll start to hear the conversation. But yeah, and I get it's almost like a trope in sports media, but like quarterback is the guy. And if you want it to be Lamar like Kyle does, sure. If you want it to be Patrick LaVon Mahomes II, sure. One of those two is the correct answer. It is not Tyreek Hill. But this list as a whole, again, Kyle listed off past lists. Heck, I'll even talk about this current list. Travis Kelce is a top 10 player. What year is it? Micah Parsons down to number 17, and one above him rising 40 spots is Dak Prescott. What universe are we living in this list? So yes, no, quarterbacks are the right answer. Not at number 16. It should be at number 1 and number 2. Tyreek Hill starts at 3. He's the best wide receiver, but he is not the number 1.
You guys bring some really great points to the table. And for the sake of debate,
Okay.
is where things usually turn the tide. But I can't do it. I'm going to go in. The motherfucker, an Oscar goes to. I'm just playing now, right here and now. I can't disagree with this. I mean, you both bring up really great points, especially going to pass lists like Kyle did, like Jim said, as well as another point that Jim brought up as far as Patrick Mahomes deserves it over Tyreek Hill. I mean, yes, they have a championship together, but then Patrick Mahomes got 2 more afterwards. So he hasn't needed Tyreek Hill in the past 2 years to win back-to-back championships. Now, a lot of this definitely works with the fact that you do have Kelsey, who's, when he retires, is going to be considered the greatest tight end of all time. I mean, that's just how it's going to be, even though there can be arguments with that position, like people argue the position of quarterback all the time between Tom Brady, Joe Montana, and others who will come after them, as of course. Looking at this right here, I thought it was just as blasphemous as the contract that Tyreek Hill is allegedly had just signed this past weekend on Saturday, giving him an extension of $90 million with 65 guaranteed. And on top of that, between the 3-year contract of that and the one that's rolling into that currently, with this being the last year of his deal, he's guaranteed $106.5 million over the next 4 years. Not only is this list blasphemous, with the fact that he's getting paid that much money, a wide receiver who, yes, is making a contribution to the Dolphins. And yes, you could argue that he is making Tua better than he actually is with how he bounced back with, from his concussion stuff from the previous year in 2022 to the type of year he had in 2023. Tyreek Hill wasn't what made Patrick Mahomes, and you are definitely seeing that as one that Kyle Nash likes to call him, Patrick LaVon Mahomes II, and go with his entire name. Well, right here, PLM should deserve to be number 1 and not Tyreek Hill based on what he's been able to accomplish without him. Okay? So putting all that together, I'm agreeing with what you guys have to say on this one. I can't disagree. Not even when I like to go for the sake of debate, just to argue it, even if I don't agree with it, because usually that's how I started when I throw an argument that I don't agree with. But tonight, on this one specifically, I knew you guys were going to go in, and we were going to have to all agree on something eventually. It's just the beauty of the show.
So you had me all feeling all warm and fuzzy. You're playing Bray Wyatt clips during the commercials, and then I thought you were gonna just make that hard right turn here on number 3, but you saved me.
You do realize, though, he did not acknowledge you there, CEO of Huddle Bink, in using the 3-name treatment for one Patrick LaVon Mahomes II. Just throwing that
here
out.
it is.
Acknowledge me.
He gets it still. The segment's not over there, Kyle.
Okay, I listened. I just wanted you to realize that Jim said it too. Yet something else where my where resistance is futile.
I'm going off of the 13 previous times. Now you've been here so many times, it's like scoring 2 touchdowns. So yes, I've heard it primarily from you. I didn't grasp that in the episodes that I've seen earlier. I can't remember everything, but I'm glad that I remember what I do. And the fact that you always use it every single time you are here, that's why you had to lead the way in that. So right here now, got a few comments. Looks like Sick Dicky says, I'm out. Tyreek Hill needs to put up a few more numbers. Then again, there's a lot of bias. Well, you would be in then, Sick, because it does not deserve to be number 1. So just to help you out there, yes, you are right with feeling the same way that we do, but you are in as well.
I don't like the numbers defense, though. I mean, the dude got hurt. How much more numbers can he put up, for crap's sake? What are we doing here?
Now, you've got to look at this. When it comes to that commercial that you saw earlier, you should run. And that's the beginning of it. Just to let you know, a little something's coming to SIRTOBA here soon, along with the hourglass.
I'm intrigued.
Pay attention, because it's coming. Bray Wyatt is lighting the way from afar. And he says, my mistake. I stand corrected. I am in. That's my man Sick right there. As always, keeping it real out here in these streams. We got one more round to go to before we go to our last commercial break. And with that being said, we got to take this into round 4 to the By the Numbers segment.
Round 4.
Here with round 4, as blasphemous as it may seem, Charlie Joyner is the greatest athlete to ever wear the number 18 in all of sports history. Big Jim, start us out hot on this one. I know you can. How do you feel about this one? Are you in or are you out on this one?
Man, I don't want to disrespect a Hall of Famer and everything, but like a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest, I'm out. Yeah, I mean, look, it could be recency, somewhat recency bias for me, considering the amount of time the man's been retired and spending Monday nights in my living room with me with the Manning cast. But I'm going Peyton Manning is the greatest athlete to wear the number 18. I mean, 15th all-time career completion percentage, 3rd all-time in touchdowns and yards. I mean, records for most TDs in a season, yards in a season, touchdowns in a game, 2-time Super Bowl champ, and the list goes on and on. MVPs, Offensive Player of the Year, Pro Bowls, and the better of the two Manning brothers, and better of the two Manning brothers as SNL host, even better than Tom Brady in that front. Yeah, look, Charlie Joyner, very good. There's been a lot of other really good number 18s, but when I'm talking the world of sport, if I think the number 18, and sorry once again, Broncos, not to kick you while you are so eternally down.
The Denver Broncos.
But I think of number 18 in that Colts blue and white, and it is Peyton Manning.
Wow. Okay. Definitely a great pick there. Let's see what everybody else has to say about that in the comments after Kyle and I go. Speaking of that, Kyle, how do you feel about this one? Are you going to agree with him and go out, or are you going to take the reins with Charlie Joyner and ride this wave?
I mean, listen, just like a fat guy trying to run a marathon, I am out. Listen, while we are resorting to cheap theatrics here as to whether we are in and out, and I mean both my good friend Jim and myself, let me be clear. Peyton Williams Manning is how he should be addressed, by the way. This should capture the essence of why he's the best number 18. Now, I will grant you, it's pretty slim pickings in 18, right? When I'm doing my research, mofos are actually inserting Philadelphia Eagles receiver Jeremy Maclin in the conversation. Stop it! Okay? Can you not? And I saw some people, I even see it here in the comments, props to Ike once again doing his due diligence, throwing hockey players and baseball players, maybe the occasional NASCAR person in there. First of all, I don't deal in motorsports. I talk sports. So, you're going to go NASCAR, you're out of my purview. I don't do motorsports. # me problem if you want to call it that. Fine. By the way, worth noting, broke the touchdown record after one Thomas Edward Patrick Bieber Brady. Oh, sorry. The second did so with an elite group and failed to win the Super Bowl. What was it? 17 wins, 1 giant loss. Anyways, so yeah.
You should know your role and shut your mouth.
Oh, I missed that part of the documentary where Peyton Manning said that to Tom Brady. Or was it Eli? I'm losing track. But the punchline is this.
Now, that is absurd.
Accurate also starts with A. Anyways, so the only thing that's going to be absurd eventually is Arch Manning trying to follow this act, and I don't think he's going to. Not that I think that Quentin Ewers is all that in a bag of chips. Yeah, I'm basically saying that Texas isn't back, but I've been wrong before about that too. I don't know what their defensive line is like. That'll drive that more than any quarterback. Punchline being this, getting back on track. Drew. Jim got this right. Drew might get it right. I don't know if he's going to try to make a baseball manager his answer again, because they're what? He said baseball manager is his answer again. What? Baseball manager is his answer again. Wear a number, because they wear numbers where every other coach in a sport doesn't. But then again, I don't know if there's any famous baseball managers that wear 18. So I don't know that you even have that as an option. I don't know. Was Jeremy Maclin a baseball manager, Drew? Anyways, Peyton Williams Manning answer.
Kyle Nash, bringing the heat. Both of you bring in some great takes when it comes to Peyton Manning. And if you looked for a show when it comes to sports and shenanigans,
You got the right one, baby.
there it is.
What a throwback.
Partner, just F with me. It's awesome.
Love it.
Hey, speaking of throwback,
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
there it is. Here we are with the shenanigans for episode 118. Now, will this be a total
surprise, motherfucker?
I don't think so, because then I'm going to hear this afterwards.
Stay off the weed.
I'm going to have to agree with what you guys are saying. And go. Some great, collective executive producing again there with Jim. That was great. Now, when it comes to this topic right here, you can't really argue against Peyton Manning with what he did in helping revolutionize the quarterback position for the game of football. I mean, it was already what it was, from the greats who had paved the way before him. But based on Peyton Manning's approach to the game in his years within the Colts and then his later years with the Broncos, he changed how quarterbacks think, how they read defenses, how they prepare for the game. Now, Arch Manning is, what he is because of learning from Peyton. Like you said, he really didn't learn so much from Eli. Eli got lucky in certain cases, and with Jim and I being fans of teams that are rivals of them in the East, we're probably not the greatest of ones to discuss when it comes to Eli Manning and our thoughts on him. But when it comes to the middle brother, usually the middle brother is either the greatest of the pack of people of siblings within a family, or the black sheep. It's one of the two. And Peyton Manning happened to be the one who came to the NFL playing for his brother, for someone that couldn't actually play the game of football, and he used that as his motivation to basically play for both of them. And with that being said, it motivated him to become what he was. It was great that he got the championship on his way out. You can argue to how they got that championship all you want to. If you think part of it was political with certain ways, certain calls, certain things went in certain games, getting them to the Super Bowl, you could. But at the end of the day, they still won based on their defense, and you still got him the championship he deserved to at least get at least one during that 4-year span with the Broncos. With what he did with the Indianapolis Colts, he put them back on the map after being somewhat of a dumpster Elkin-esque team after moving from Baltimore to Indianapolis in the mid-'80s. And then, the greatest thing that they had really had was Jim Harbaugh. And then, of course, they had Jim Mora, who towards the end of the 90s, early 2000s, I think the 2001 season, was known for saying his big old playoffs routine known as this.
What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
Combined with a great mind like Tony Dungy, defensive mind, but Peyton Manning running the offense, the Indianapolis Colts became what they were. Peyton Manning was one of the, modern day, without having the title, player coaches, because he ran that team like he was the offensive coordinator. If you look at what Charlie Joyner did, like everybody else said, no disrespect on the man's name, definitely a Hall of Famer, legend within the Chargers community with what he did for that team. Definitely the best to wear 18 for the Chargers, but not for, the entirety of the NFL, let alone sports. I see one of the comments out there talking about Bobby Labonte because he was a Winston Cup champion. Yeah, jokingly, I've made graphics and said for shows before that NASCAR drivers are the best to wear a number, but usually we find a football player or a baseball player to argue against the fact. And Peyton Manning, with what he did for the game of football and revolutionizing the position at quarterback, was way more than Bobby Labonte's contributions to the sport of NASCAR. And if it was the number 43 and Peyton Manning wore 43, then we might have a little bit better of an argument between him and Richard Petty. But we're not even anywhere close to that in numbers. So you take that somewhere else there, Ike, because I will not let it happen here and now on episode 118.
Apparently, Drew does give a fuck. You notice how I hit that long O to make sure we got it right there?
You did. You did. I'll follow it up with a
Yeah. Yeah.
Any rebuttals to that, even though we don't disagree whatsoever?
What the hell would we add to that, Drew? What are you talking about?
Yeah, that pretty much hit the post real hard on that one. I got nothing.
After 6 saying, his mistake, I stand corrected. Like Jesus is checking in.
Jesus in the building. That's what's up.
There he is. Even Ike is giving a fuck out here when it comes to like Jesus out here in these streets. You gotta love it when it comes to him and his last name. I love it every single time he decides to jump in.
I feel saved right now, Drew Willingham.
I'm out as Bobby Labonte as a Winston Cup champion, and that's where I basically had to go.
Let me talk to
you. Somewhere lingering in the background, Ike, our man Bishop was coming back from the dead.
Hell to the no, to the no, 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 no. Hell no, to the no, no.
I don't know how many times I have to tell you.
You guys want to hear a fucking story?
And that story is this.
You can't handle the truth.
Now let's reel it back in. Still love you, Ike. Everything's good.
Listen.
No, this does not argue with what we said.
Let Jim have a minute to breathe, a moment where Bishop Bullwinkle's applied to something else other than the Cowboys' chances of a playoff win.
Hell to the no, to the no, 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 no. Hell no, to the no, no.
Jim could go about this one of two ways before he has the floor. He can agree with you, or when it comes to the response of his take, let's take it to professional wrestling.
You may claim to be the best in the world, but I'm better than you. And you know it.
Now, are you going to be MJF here, Jim, when it comes to a response to Kyle Nash?
Man, I'm so browbeaten by the Dallas Cowboys. Like, I can't get up off the mat. Are you kidding? I mean, me and the Huddle Up crew, when Kyle was on vacation, we vacationed over to the student of the game, and I predicted the Cowboys to barely be above 500. So I can't even rebut it. That's where I'm at. Heck, one of our 3 offseason acquisitions, Royce Freeman, limped to the locker room today. So that's pretty much where I'm at.
Oh, I missed that. Oh, damn.
Yeah. One of 3. Yes, count them. 1, 2, 3 offseason acquisitions by the Cowboys is already injured. So we're in midseason form.
Zeke. Sorry.
That running back room, I tell you. Do
Brutal.
you think there's any chance that Zeke walks in there and says this?
I think I got my swagger back. Oh.
No, I do not.
Without hesitation.
It was funny the other day. I forget what the context of it was, and like I saw an Eagles fan that was like, "You guys are getting hyped about Zeke being back." I'm like, "Pardon me? What Cowboys fan is excited about this? Like, please show them to me because I want to go at them and tell them they are wrong."
I'm pretty sure Jim's going to download Bishop Bullwinkle to play for them.
Right? Like, what?
Yes.
Like, in what universe are Cowboys fans excited about this? Please explain it to me.
If somebody was a Cowboy fan and said that they were excited, I would say this.
Liar.
Because you can't be excited. I mean, especially with the rest of the talent in the room, and you let arguably one of your best running back pieces since Zeke was at his prime and Tony Pollard walk out the door.
Yeah, there's all sorts of confusion with what's going on in Dallas.
It's like you're gonna have some people doing this like they do when they get pulled over.
You're tripping about the whole situation. Let me get my husband on the line.
Okay.
lucky to recover. D25. I got one run.
Get out and dodge. It's about time they blow it up.
That's right.
So the guys.
Lance!
The savior.
Off that.
I mean,
Obese podcast.
Did he not see did he not see the portion of I'm out, or no, I'm like a fat kid at a buffet, I'm in, like
right, like what are we doing here?
It's just like
Oh, that's great. Don't act like y'all don't see fat monsters.
Like who are you trying to like surprise here? Like
holy shit. I mean, we're stating the obvious, but let's go to some positive. Like my man Dante being in the house. What's up, Dante? Always glad to have you here, my man. Dante is a fan of someone else who's within our division, who is a rival, and that being the Philadelphia Eagles, who are still feeling the blow from a couple of Super Bowls ago.
Thing sucks.
they're still having inferiority complexes that they could only get past the Niners because they lost all their quarterbacks. Shouts to your boy Matt, right, Jim? Oh, how's the evil twin doing, by the way? Talk about not handling the truth on my show, by the way.
I mean, I assume he's underwater right now.
But I don't even have a response for that.
Our man is back in the comments. Says, Kyle, I feel saved. Praise him. He is here, my man Corey. Glad to have you back in the comments. And we crushed it last week and look forward to doing it again at some point down the road. Meanwhile, the night nurses are all hot and bothered as well as vigilant and concerned for Drew's well-being.
That's that strong core and weak neck. I'm saying that.
It's Dallas. They them boys. After a win, then the playoff comes.
I mean, that's kind of like the dude that said y'all fat. And
yeah, I mean,
like,
we at least beat a bad quarterback in Tampa in the first round at one time in the last
couple
and it's kind of like how
we retired Tom Brady. What are you saying, man?
Retired Tom Brady, and even Tom Brady today is kind of like
Ain't nobody care. Who cares? Ain't nobody care.
Because since the Cowboys, since the Commanders, since the 49ers have won their last Super Bowl, Tom Brady's won 7. That's why he doesn't care.
That's true.
No, it's because he's old and drunk and doing roasts. Just saying.
That's terrible.
Doesn't make me wrong.
That's terrible.
Still not wrong.
You should know your role and shut your mouth.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
If Deion Sanders saw that, I would love his reaction.
I had to dust that one off. I can't remember the last time I clicked on that, but it was just perfect. Because even Dante's saying, ouch.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't remember the Cowboys losing to Baker Mayfield. Anyways, hey, Jim, I could diss the Eagles too.
I appreciate that. You are very good at that.
Guys, this has been another great round here. Keep those comments coming. We're going to take our last commercial break. And when we come back, we have the final round, the final word to round out this episode. We'll see you guys here after this final commercial break.
I remember that I am the color red in a world full of black and white. There you are. should run.
SIRTOBA Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
In a world where chronicles of the past are brought to the streams, whether the content is relatable or completely beyond your realm of life, there is no shadow of a doubt that this show is absolutely full of shenanigans. Get ready for
D. Willie in the evening,
this Sunday at 10:05 p.m. Eastern,
exclusively on SIRTOBA Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome. Oh, yes. The tradition, the pageantry, the spectacle, the history, the slut. Wait. I gotta rep my brother's stuff right. All my DMV soldiers, stand up! And welcome to the Commander's Gridiron Report. You want your commanders to be repped right? Well, D. Willie is your man. Commander's Gridiron Report. Every Tuesday at 11:05 a.m. Eastern, 10:05 a.m. Central, on the SIRTOBA Media YouTube channel. Music by J. Cool.
Where my soldiers, right side, commanders. Where my soldiers, left side.
Welcome back to the In-Or-Out Sports Debate, episode 118. We are back from our final commercial break and have one final round at hand. Let's go ahead and take it there and see what we got in store for that one.
Final round.
Take it back to the NFL. Talk about the most recent unveiling when it comes to the NFL Sunday ticket ruling. U.S. judge overturning $4.7 billion in Sunday ticket judgment against the NFL was the right decision. Start this off with you there, Kyle Nash. How do you feel about this one there, brother? Are you in or are you out on this one?
You know, as much as an NFL homer as I'm accused of being, my understanding is this.
Homer.
Yeah, right. My understanding is this decision puts NFL dominance back in play. With that in mind, I'm not even going to make a joke. I'm just going to say I'm out. Frankly, anything that takes NFL fans' eyes off of the product makes me mad, even when the NFL is trying to act like I can dominate the way that I'm trying to with the Sunday ticket. Now, I will grant you, with everything that's going on, a lot of the movements, there's a lot of football shenanigans all over the business. I even tried to research this a little bit, and I still don't fully grasp it. But the punchline is this, friends. At the end of the day, anybody that's trying to take the NFL off of public airways, including one of Jim's favorite services in the form of the PCAC out there, who he'll suddenly defend capitalism as woke Jim when it comes to that, by the way. Just check out the Huddle podcast if you don't believe me.
Let's get ready to rumble!
But to hide the NFL behind a paywall, and I'm not even touching postseason games if they try to do that trash, or even the Super Bowl on a streaming service, I'm against all of it. Keep it in the public domain and have the corporations pay for it. Because here's a hint. They will.
Kyle Nash dropping bombs again, even here with the final round. Jim, how do you respond to this? Are you going to agree with him and go out, or are you going to disagree and go in?
You know, I know Kyle is probably already preparing for me to bust out Gordon Gekko and greed is good and all this. Not today, partner. I'm out. Now, look, this may be coming from a completely biased standpoint because I was for many years a DirecTV and even last season a YouTube TV subscriber to Sunday Ticket, and I was already planning what I could do with my portion of the $4.7 billion, up to $14 billion in the settlement because of the antitrust. But looks like those plans have gone about as cold as Dak Prescott in the second round. I mean, I do it to my own team. No, but honestly though, like if you really think about just and I am no legal expert by any stretch of the imagination. I would have to talk to one of my best friends who is a lawyer to really get the meat and potatoes of this. But if you look at the structure of the Sunday Ticket, the app and the platform over its history, the NFL has absolutely taken advantage of its paying audience. I mean, even if you just prior to last year when you had like the multi-stream, four games in one box option, you go back to DirecTV. There's no way that you're consuming every game on a Sunday. Like, I mean, again, it's a dream of mine to have 9 TVs in the living room, but my wife thinks that might be a bit excessive. It's just not going to happen. So the idea that you're paying for a only one option monopoly over what the NFL product is, over one gigantically inflated price point, it just stinks out loud. And the little tinfoil hat that you don't see under this Cowboys training camp hat that I have on, because like a sucker, I keep giving my money to the National Football League. But really, the tinfoil hat behind it also makes it feel like there's some sort of the deal that's been cut between the judge and the National Football League to not make the NFL have to pay this thing out.
You guys bring some really great points to the table.
Here he
This is
comes.
the time in the show where it's like, do I go down this one road? It's like the yellow brick road towards the answer, or do I say, for the sake of debate, and completely go to the fork in the road and say, no mother, father, and way, and give a different take on this situation? I think that
He's
would
gonna
be
fork and do it, isn't he?
I think that would be absolutely blasphemous if I did, and I'm going to go out. All right. So right here.
Ooh, look at that.
And now it's time to bring it out. It's time to show the reason why this champ in the building. Okay. King of promos out here in the streams. Cal Nash already knows at some point this unit was going to be on my shoulder. And I'm doing it for the two of you because I'm agreeing with you right here and now. I have to give some more context to the situation. Can't really give that much because you guys absolutely crushed it out here in these streams tonight, for one. But also with this one, when I'm agreeing with you, I have to display the fact of this championship right here. There's a special section of it, and it's dedicated to this show. It's right here on this plate. And that's because when you look at this right here and now in this segment, but a U.S. judge overturning a judgment that was against the NFL and saying if it was the right decision. No, it's not the right decision. Because with them overturning the situation, it gives the NFL Sunday Ticket, DirecTV, this, that, and the other, more power. It gives us less options. Because you look at Amazon Prime, and then you look at the other apps, like we have Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime. It's a better option, in my opinion, as they're building up Amazon Prime and Peacock. You look at what they're doing with something that Big Jim and I are a fan of, professional wrestling, right? We're moving it to Netflix. Most people have Netflix. Could you imagine seeing live football on Netflix, on your phone, having the ability, as a lot of us who are busy on certain days where there's football, we might not be able to be at home or wherever we're privy to watching the game, to be able to watch it, or want to pay cable costs, or to pay the ridiculous NFL Sunday Ticket fees to be able to have all the options of playing it, all the different games, and look at things to the extent to where we want to look at them. You look at the NFL Red Zone, someone like myself, I have that. It's a lot easier to keep track of everything and a lot cheaper of a price. But when it comes to NFL Sunday Ticket, they have had the strong arm on NFL games for several years now. And what kind of helped the case out was the lawsuit, to where it was the groundbreaking platform for us to start getting other options at some point beyond Amazon Prime. I'm thinking of the future, kind of like how WWE and professional wrestling is thinking of the future, and trying to get things on these different app-based platforms that will bring you more eyes to the product and give them more consistency. Will it drive the price of Netflix up at some point? More than likely. I mean, Netflix has gone up considerably in the past decade, and we're starting to really see a big payoff on it over the last 4 to 5 years, where they're giving us the true amount of options for us to really get our money's worth with the platform and how the price has gone up. So I feel like with agreeing with them overturning this situation, it doesn't really help us get to that point where here in the future, we could have more options to watch our football that isn't completely jailbroken, or something that's not illegal by watching it on a Fire Stick, by getting us back to the point to where things are in control by the consumer. So me, as the king of promos, out here with the belt, I couldn't disagree with what you guys are saying, because this show is just as much of this championship right here as this championship is a part of the show. And every single person in that Vault of Fame is part of this championship. And even if you are a fan of a team, it's a rival of the Commanders, you gotta admit, this is one sexy championship right here. One that Terrell Owens, Mr. Rollback, has dubbed as Big Red out here in these streets. You know, even if you are a Cowboys fan, you love this championship. Don't tell me otherwise, Big Jim. You know you love it. Here it is. Here and now.
It's good. It's good. That is a prime championship right there.
Listen, it's the closest thing that Garnet and Gold will see to a championship, right, Seminoles fans? Too soon?
Wow, they are thinking about leaving this conversation, Kyle.
Yes, I wonder who's crying now. Anyways,
Shut your bitch ass up.
The correct answer is actually the ACC. They are the ones who are crying now. Yes.
Correct. Yes, they are.
I had to drop the rock out there for those who are crying. Because again, if you are crying,
Stop it. Get some help.
Along with,
Would you please shut the hell up?
Followed up again with,
Shut your bitch ass up.
Jim, are you writing down? I'm pretty sure I saw Jim writing all the sound bites he's adding.
My gosh, man, this is my soundboard is gonna get twice as big.
EJ
According to that one commenter earlier, I don't know if I can afford to get any bigger.
Hey, if I could be your Miyagi and show you the way to the soundboard, there it is there, brother. There it is. When it comes to, we got a few more comments we got to drop out here before we go to our final take. And thank God for our Super Bowl to make me feel better.
You do have that one over me. You are right.
Well, I'll say this too. It is Jalen Hurts' single best performance as a quarterback. I enjoyed thoroughly covering that in person, Dante. So there's that.
Jim, if you ever do decide to join the club, remember it's all about the tip. You got to put that gold tip on the
Oh, of course there. You got to.
So you got to have that. That's what
some say. I'm all tip. Wait, never mind. Never mind. This is a family show. My bad.
At Big Jim Sports, 9 is excessive. If you have a TV with split screen capabilities, then you're good.
I mean,
oh yeah, no, I'm talking about back in the day when I used to have to argue with DirecTV about the price of the thing for about 6 hours on the phone. The first week of the NFL season, back in the day when we didn't have the YouTube TV. I will give YouTube TV's version of it credit, although I'm not paying for it this year because I'm out of that game. They have the multi four per screen option. You can just flip around whichever broadcast you want to hear. But back in the day, man, it was not quite as easy to maximize the streams.
And as a side note, for we independent journalists here who may in fact be writing for sites like Jaguars on SI, bing, and trying to cover games, I'll tell you, the NFL Plus or whatever the package is complicated as hell to figure out. You may wonder how I was able to write an article on the Panthers Jaguars game last year. The key is I just got lucky that Josh Hines Allen, see how I got the correct name in there, that Josh Hines Allen broke the sack record and I could actually do it. But thanks to their shenanigans and their complicated ass setup, making me think I would be able to watch that game and cover it proper, and couldn't because I had to apparently pay $50 more. Yeah, no. How about no, guys? Okay, thanks.
Thing sucks.
That was me. Why are you bugging my studio, Drew? What the hell?
That was perfect. It's interesting when you look at with the NBA and the NCAA TV deals to go in very different direction. And then there's the NFL, but it might be why the NFL is king in ratings and money.
So I'm going to cut in real quick something Dante I don't think he's immediately thinking about is how many more teams and how many more entities are in play with the NCAA. Listen, I get that the NBA is doing mad battle and mad war. I think that's more about killing TNT and reducing competition. I think that's about maintaining an oligarchy in sports that has in fact ruined it and led us to evils, including Skip Bayless. Am I glad he's leaving? Yes. Punchline's this, though, guys. I think it's a different conversation. And eventually, when even Notre Dame joins a conference, please cue Nathan R. Jessup, Drew. Even when Notre Dame joins a conference, that doesn't make me wrong. Even when Notre Dame joins a conference, and they will because the almighty dollar wins, just ask Gordon Gekko.
Wrong, sir. Wrong.
Do you see his resistance? The end of the day, we're talking hundreds of teams. Even if you believe the new stuff with NIL and actual payment of players, I said it, coming up will reduce it. It'll still be more teams, at least early on, than the NFL will have. It's going to be
what?
More teams in college.
What?
Teams in college makes
Say
it.
what again? Say what again?
I mean, you've been saying it for half a decade, Kyle. You're starting to become the boy that cried conference. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I'm sorry. You predicted the Pac-12 and ACC gap. But we're going to pretend I didn't think this was right, huh?
I'm just saying. 5 more years from now, when Notre Dame's still hosting home playoff games in week 1, crushing whatever team comes out of Southwestern Carolina State, I'll still be here to tell you I told you so.
I don't know if I want to argue with that statement as you put it or not, because you made points about how overrated they are, and all at the same time, I'm conflicted, Big Jim. That's
the point.
You're as conflicted as I was with Mr. with 2 L's, Sam Howell, when he was previously with the Commies. Okay. So
I was right about that one too. I'm glad you brought another one I nailed like Ron Jeremy over here. But okay.
I guess when it comes to you and your particular take,
I am the game, and I am that damn good.
Now shut your bitch ass up.
Nothing to add to your flawless argument. I will, in fact, shut my bitch ass up. Yes.
No, I was doing that mainly to Triple H because of how they used to go back and forth during the Attitude Era. Yeah. So I kind of felt like it formed in there, but I also wanted to clear the air because as soon as I clicked the button, I knew you were going to probably say something about it. So here we are. But back here and now, Sick Diggy, I am out. When it comes to streaming services, there has to be better options when it comes to availability.
He's not, but I believe we both just argued this, did we not, Jim?
We did. Yeah. We did. And I stated what I stated too, which falls along the category of it. I just said it now with less energy than I did previously. Let's be clear. I don't support the NFL Sunday Ticket. I'm with Bootleg Gang talking about jailbroken device.
Man, you don't even need to have it here in Bootleg Gang. You can get into the VPN gang and just move your home location to whatever home city that your team's playing in, which I may or may not do this upcoming NFL season.
NordVPN, ladies and gentlemen. That's another good one out there. You can check
Hashtag
out.
future sponsor.
Also, monopolies are hard to break if they're not clearly if they're not checked early on.
Sick, I got bad news for you, buddy. This is not early on in the NFL.
Yes.
Life. Yes.
Roger Goodell's walking around here like the Monopoly guy going, it's a monocle. It's a monocle.
Hold on. Listen. I'm going to have to do this. I sound like somebody trying to defend Trump over here. Listen, okay? Roger is not what made it a monopoly. It was a monopoly long before he took the chair.
Oh, no. I'm not denying that. He is just the current Monopoly guy.
He's the
He will pass the silly hat and the monocle to somebody at some point.
Hopefully to me. I mean, what?
We'll see there, Kyle Nash. We'll see if he passes it to you or not. It's just not the Sunday ticket. Look, at Madden, the problem is there are as many people who will pay for it.
Not anymore. College football 25 is back in these streets, my friend.
Yes.
Madden ain't getting my money no more.
Even though Arch Manning is still overrated as a backup quarterback at 87 in the game, I will continue to argue that every day of the week.
You also think the ACC is a good conference too, so
it can be, Kyle Nash. It can be. It can be.
Obviously not. We saw Notre Dame win it the one year they were a member of it. Anyways, everybody's in trouble when I'm on this panel. Boom.
It's just like having your favorite numbers you're going to play in lottery. You might lose most of the time, but you can't give up hope. At some point, it's going to come through for you. That's how you got to have the heart of a champion, Kyle Nash. Even Dante says, ouch. Yeah, I probably said some blasphemous stuff, but that's just to keep the show rolling.
I think that was my FSU shot right there.
He's just out here catching strays all night, man.
I always wanted to know how local writers will follow a single team. It was tough for me to follow the Eagles games due to the local listing because where Dante is, just like he's not too far from me, there's a lot of Washington games on there.
Yeah, just the insight for me. First of all, I have to pray that CBS doesn't play the Dolphins instead of the Jags. So there's that. I'm sure you have that. Well, no, you don't. Different conferences for the Red Tails. Sorry, Commanders and Ravens. And then, I either that or I'm going to the bar and pissing off the wife, having to leave the house to go watch it. So,
Hey, you got to see it. You got to get that knowledge so you can talk about it. When it comes to VPNs, like we were all just talking about a minute ago, VPN is a great option. Dante,
or write about it like I do for Jaguars on this side.
There it is. The crazy thing is you had a VPN. You can get the Sunday ticket for free in some Europe countries and a massive discount in others, but there's other bootleg options.
Oh, very interesting.
Dante. Well, Dante sounds like he's got some inside information that we might not be as privy to. Dante, you have my contact. Hit me up in the DMs. We're going to talk about this. I will forward this to these guys here. We're going to keep it off the books. That's as much as I'm going to say about it. If you're listening out here, government, leave me alone, okay? I'm the least of your worries. Let's have some fun out here in these streams. Yeah, but NCAA is just EA Sports, which have Madden as well. It does, but I mean, have you played the college football game, Dante? Have you been a part of it? I haven't. It looks great with the videos.
It's so good. It is so good. Take a step back in time. Buy that game, download it, grab yourself a Mountain Dew. Take a walk back in time. It'll do you good.
Unfortunately, like Fry in Futurama, Jim has already said, "Shut up and take my money." So.
With that game, yeah, absolutely. The minute I heard it was coming out, it just tell me where and when I got to sign. That's all I got. That's all I got to do.
Yep.
See, the older I get, it's like I'm trying to think as rational as I can because I don't have the newest system. I would have to go buy the newest Xbox or PlayStation in order. Because I got an Xbox One, and it's like spend $400 for the system plus another $60-$70 for the game. You're still around $500, and that's if you don't get any other add-ons. I'm like, dude, with the amount of time I have, I don't know if I can, but I encourage the rest of you who already have the newest system to buy that unit and play it and tell me how it is. But I still don't agree.
I got a good wife, man. When she heard the game was coming out, she's like, let's upgrade you. I was like, okay.
Yeah. So wait. Your wife went Beyonce and was all like, let me upgrade.
Yeah, man. You're as shocked as I am.
No, sir. I am more so. Take that conversation offline, sir.
I'm feeling it, Kyle. No, because I have a PC. It's only available on console.
Ooh,
yes.
That's a problem.
So he doesn't have it. And along with, I don't want to buy a console. He wants to stick with PC gaming. So that's why he's not going to play it. But he will still remain a fan of content, whether it's NCAA or NFL. Guys, thank you so much for the comments and for keeping them rolling. We only have one more thing we got to do before we get on out of here. And that's take this thing to the final word. Well, actually, I misspoke. We have to do one other thing first.
Acknowledge me.
It's time to acknowledge the Vault of Fame. Big Jim is now locked in the vault for the first time, joining everybody else here with 118 being the number that got him in there for the first one, as Kyle Nash can stand tall over here with his 14-time Vault of Fame inductions. And you got to look at the leaderboard as he is in third, just behind his nemesis. He's been calling out that he wants to face on this show, and I'm only getting amped up so I can send this clip to Rob and let him know how much he wants to be challenged out here by the one Kyle Nash at some point in the near future. You have to look at that show, and you have to look at it all here on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and formerly known as Twitter, but on X, where everything is brought to you by SIRTOBA Media. Where?
SIRTOBA Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
Check out this show and more on SIRTOBA Media as we are back for episode 118. We only got one more thing left to do, as I alluded to, and that is the final word. Out of everything we've talked about on this show, anything in sports life or anything in general, Kyle Nash, take us home to begin the way when it comes to the final word.
First of all, welcome, Big Jim, to the Vault of Fame here on the In or Out Sports Debate Show. I want the record to show one thing. Of the top of the list of inductees, of which I'm among, 5 or 6? I think there's only 4 or 5 4 or 5 of them I've faced, and there's only one who's missing. Rob Johnson, acknowledge me. Hey, at the very least, you get a very cool nickname, right? Joey Raymond's the Boy Wonder now. Corey Mann is Black Jesus. I mean, everybody wins coming out of that in some form or fashion at Days In. No, Darrell Owens doesn't have a nickname. He just gets the honor of being the guy that hosted me dunking on Drew Willingham in a baseball topic in the first show we ever did together. But yeah, it was about winning the pool holes. It's a fun time, Jim. How disastrous would it be for women's basketball if this women's team doesn't win the gold medal after excluding Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese? Oh boy, if I know anybody that's clamping their butt cheeks tight enough to make lead into gold, it would be the committee that opted to leave Caitlin Clark off of it. Listen, I've been a big Angel Reese proponent and still think she has a strong case to be Rookie of the Year without any stretch of the imagination for the WNBA. I know they're on break because the Olympics are a thing, but boy, howdy, can you imagine the firestorm if the U.S. women headed to Paris and did not come back with gold? I'm already popping my corn just in case. Throwing it out, gentlemen. Carry on.
Kyle Nash, very interesting take right there, taking things to the WNBA. Something we've discussed on this show previously. But one thing, with based on the other topics that we had in this show, I felt it was necessary to leave that one out for tonight. And based on all that, I'll go back and circle around to that here in a second. But Big Jim, how are you feeling at this point when it comes to your final word and your final thoughts rounding out the episode?
Man, it was I'll seal the line from Kyle, honor, joy, and privilege to be to now be in the Vault of Fame. Still well away from the top, but you don't build a building without starting at the ground level. So yeah, no, this has been an absolute blast. I'm glad to finally have been a part of it. I am looking forward to soon getting back to the normal routine of weekly sweating out college football games on a Saturday and hating my NFL team on a Sunday. So the world is, while we are in chaos right now, the world seems to be correcting itself. Nature is healing, and I will hate the Dallas Cowboys on a weekly basis soon enough.
I appreciate the kind sentiments there, Jim. And, I feel for you when it comes to, I might as well use the word because we're not on the radio yet, how both of our teams play pretty shit-tastic at points over the year. Okay. Over the years, all the years since the mid-90s, our teams have just flat out sucked overall. Okay.
Yep.
I feel you on that. Except for like the rookie sensation year of RG3. I've been feeling the pain for the majority of my adulthood. So at least you've gotten a little bit closer. I'll give you that overall, but it's still, they've been messing with our heads with the way these teams have been playing. So from one brother of a shit-tastic team to another, I feel you. All right.
He's still a Wolverines fan, though. Don't feel too bad for him.
Watch your mouth.
There's other sports that keep us going. Like, I'm a fan of the Braves, and they got me a championship not that long ago, so I'm okay. All right. And there's other things and other sports and other things to keep us going and other wins. And, speaking of that, those of you who are part of it and what we're doing here, even if we have to share it 1,500 times until you like and subscribe and watch enough episodes to get us to our end goal, we're still part of something pretty cool here. Sports back. NFL Hall of Fame game was last week. We saw the debut of the dynamic kickoff. There's been some snowflakes out there who have been giving their opinion about how much they don't approve of it and think that it's going to be changed before the midway point of the season. If you want to go back and see my take on that, you can go back and watch earlier today's episode 49 of Total Football Talk. Bing! As Kyle Nash, the architect of the Bing, would say. I actually brought the Commanders as, our lead topic on the show. The first time I've done that in 49 episodes, as we have to get ready for another show that will be back next Tuesday, and a show that will be back every Tuesday until the end of their NFL season, that being the Commanders Gridiron Report. You can check out the takes on that show each and every Tuesday. Wednesday, you've got the Student of the Game podcast, which you can see around 9 o'clock at night each and every Wednesday. And Fridays at 11 a.m., you can check out the Duval Dive with him and Travis Holmes. This show right here, Total Football Talk and Commanders Gridiron Report, will be the main shows of this platform for a bit. The other show, D. Willie in the Evenings, coming back in October. But there's no definitive date yet for it, but it's coming back this fall, as well as we have another show that you saw in the commercials. It's, giving little teasers, including with what Bray Wyatt used to say with subliminal messages out there in the two commercials that you saw. So, a lot of cool things that are around the pike. Some of it I'm a part of. Some of it I'm just along for the ride for, and I appreciate everybody else who's doing their part with that. And those of you like Sick Diggy, Ike, Dante, Mick, those of you who have been watching these shows consistently, not just my stuff, but tuning into the other things as well, giving everybody else out there a little bit more of a bigger audience and helping us build to something that we want to continuously build on each and every week. I know some of these shows, as well as the main logo, I'm sporting a team that has played like absolute dumpster pelicans over the last decade or two, or even 3 decades. But, it's a lot better to have that than the half sleeve that's on this arm that some of you might get upset about. I don't shy away from it. That is formerly known as the REDSKINS before everything happened. Okay. Had to bring the energy. Because running up you in the moment. That's what happens when we have a lot of things going on out here in these streams. But again, this has been one great episode for episode 118. There's a lot of things in sports that we could talk about. I could give you one last okay out here for episode 118. And you know what? Just so Kyle Nash can see it one more time. Okay!
Hurt yourself.
Kyle crackers out there who might be looking for another client, hit me up. All right? I'm just kidding. But right here and now, I think this team, for the age, all jokes aside, this team, for the age of people that are on it, including an almost 40-year-old, doing some pretty remarkable things in the way that they're beating these teams. However, I think overall, these easy wins that it appears to be in the lack of challenge, whether it's tomorrow or it's when they make it to the semifinals of the Olympics, they're going to run into a roadblock. Will they be able to take that challenge head on and win the game? We'll be able to see at that point. But right here and now, I'm just saying, don't be surprised if they walk out there, Yo King leading the way with the recipient as a gold medal. No, they're going to walk out with LeBrons. It's what's going to happen here for the 2024 Olympics. And that's where I'm taking it in my final word of this episode.
The Baron of Braun hate, hard at work.
Hey, Kyle Nash, you expect nothing less. And that is what I love.
Right. Why do you think I predicted it earlier?
As Ike said, almost 10 minutes ago when you guys were talking, I'm just waiting on D. Willie to go off on Yo King again.
What did I say?
They might just get their gold medals bronzed, says Sick Dick.
I see what he did there.
That's good. That's good. That's good stuff.
Guys, thank you as always for tuning in. Remember, subscribe now, never miss out on new content, no matter what platform you're watching this episode on. Thank you all for tuning in, whether it's live or syndicated. We've only got one more thing left, and that is to look at one semi-badass outro. For Big Jim of Huddle Up Sports, Kyle Nash, the man of many hats, the architect of the Bing, everyone, as always, stay safe out here in these streets.
SIRTOBA Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
You don't have to go home, but you got to get yourself on up out of here. Everyone, as always, stay safe out here in these streets.